There are moments when nature only needs seconds to change everything. Terrifying storms, historic floods, and world-shattering disasters. These are authentic images capturing the most terrifying power of nature and humanity's struggle for survival amidst catastrophe. You are watching 911 Rescue POV, a compilation of the world's most horrific natural disaster moments. A massive wave suddenly appeared and swept away the people standing nearby within seconds. A sharp turn on the highway created an extremely dangerous situation in an instant. A gigantic tornado suddenly appeared right in the middle of a residential area, sending debris flying across the sky within seconds. People inside nearby buildings could only watch in panic as the disaster moved closer and closer. Red-hot lava suddenly erupted high into the sky, followed by a gigantic cloud of smoke that covered the entire area within minutes. People standing near the volcano could only back away as the ground shook violently and ash began falling everywhere. A monster truck suddenly lost a wheel in the middle of a massive jump, causing the entire crowd to scream in shock. The tire flew wildly across the arena just meters away from hundreds of spectators watching live. A rock blasting operation on a mountainside suddenly triggered a massive landslide, sending tons of debris crashing down just meters away from an excavator. A gigantic cloud of dust covered the entire area as huge boulders continued tumbling down the slope, accompanied by thunderous explosions. Two jet-powered vehicles blasted forward through walls of fire, turning the racetrack into an unbelievable display of speed. Massive sparks and thick white smoke erupted behind them, leaving the audience unable to look away. A terrifying lightning strike suddenly hit a building during heavy rain, creating a fireball that sent people inside into panic. Seconds later, smoke and electrical sparks continued rising through the dark and frightening scene. A lightning bolt suddenly struck trees along the roadside during a heavy storm, igniting flames that caused pedestrians to run away in fear. Just a few seconds were enough to turn a peaceful scene into a terrifying nightmare. An enormous thunderclap suddenly exploded near a residential area, startling people and causing them to flee in panic. Just moments later, the entire area was covered in smoke, dust, and terrifying chaos. A gigantic lightning bolt struck straight down from the dark sky, creating a scene so powerful that everyone who saw it stood frozen in shock. Nature's explosive force lasted only a few seconds, but was enough to shake the entire area. A violent thunderstorm transformed the night sky into a non-stop display of flashing light, while massive thunder shook the entire area. Giant lightning bolts ripped across the sky, creating a scene that was both beautiful and terrifying. Even though it lasted only seconds, the raw power of nature left everyone amazed. A mysterious smoke ring suddenly appeared in the middle of the stormy sky, leaving many people unable to believe their eyes. A man was suddenly swallowed by a massive tsunami wave. A gigantic lightning strike suddenly hit during a nighttime storm, lighting up the sky like an explosion. The horrifying moment caused many drivers below to slow down in fear. Massive waves repeatedly slammed into the seawall, causing residents to panic and run away instantly. Just standing too close to the ocean for a few seconds was enough for someone to be knocked down by the terrifying force of the sea. The red coastal cliff suddenly collapsed, creating a deep and dangerous sinkhole right beside a group of people who were watching nearby. Just a few seconds too late stepping back could have sent someone falling straight into the edge that continued cracking apart. A gigantic crater burned day and night in the middle of the desert, making the scene look like a real-life gateway to hell. Standing just a few steps from the edge was enough to feel the intense heat constantly rising from below. The weather reporter barely had time to react before a lightning bolt struck directly behind them during the violent storm. The blinding flash lit up the entire street like daylight in an instant. A crocodile was hiding beneath the muddy water when a jaguar suddenly lunged toward it near the riverbank. The clash between the two deadly predators violently churned the water within seconds. The wild encounter showed just how brutal survival in nature can be. Divers exploring a shipwreck deep underwater were suddenly confronted by a giant octopus wrapping tightly around their equipment. A power pole suddenly caught fire and exploded, creating an extremely dangerous scene. Traffic was completely jammed at an intersection when people suddenly abandoned their vehicles and ran in panic after noticing something unusual ahead. Seconds later, the entire area descended into chaos as authorities quickly sealed off the scene during rush hour. The frightened faces and non-stop car horns made the tension impossible to ignore. The squid seemed to protest desperately as it was about to be placed inside a freezing storage box. A bridge suddenly began shaking violently before collapsing within seconds, filling the area with dust and the sound of twisting metal. The horrifying moment sent nearby people running in panic as the massive structure crashed down below. A speedboat raced across the water at extremely high speed before suddenly throwing several passengers into the waves. What started as a fun ride turned into a terrifying moment within seconds as people screamed and held on tightly to avoid being swept away.
Did you see that? Yeah, I got that on camera. Go, Brandon, go.
A deer suddenly sprinted through a crowded ski resort, causing tourists to panic and jump out of the way instantly. A woman casually reached out to touch a giant stingray near the rocky shoreline, unaware that one powerful movement from the massive creature could be dangerous. The moment the enormous animal surfaced right in front of her left, many people stunned in fear. A volcano suddenly erupted, blasting a massive ash cloud into the sky and turning the neighborhood below into a terrifying, apocalyptic scene. Residents could only stand and watch as the enormous ash cloud spread wider, minute by minute. Massive waves repeatedly slammed against the cliffs, creating towering explosions of water that left nearby tourists completely amazed. Just one slow step backward could turn a sightseeing moment into an extremely dangerous situation. Gigantic waves suddenly surged straight onto the beach and smashed into the seaside restaurant, covering the entire area in whitewater. Just seconds earlier, the beach had been peaceful, but it quickly turned into chaos as seawater swept everything away. People nearby could only run as nature suddenly unleashed its fury. a gigantic shark suddenly swam dangerously close to a boat, leaving everyone on board terrified in the middle of the deep blue ocean.
On dirait qu'ils veulent garder le mystère.
Стой. Очень большой. Ногу держи. Стой, стой. Поехали. Стой, 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 стой.
Он прямо сломал его.
هاي شكله راح يدخل بالبنكيت. هاي هذا هسه بهلله. هاي يعطيه دفشه.
Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to be the first to see the latest videos. See you in the next video.